I think especially in the last 10 or so years since social media has become a thing, people have thought that they have to be picture perfect all the time to make Instagram where they post. And they forget that the things that people put on Instagram are their highlight reels. And a lot of people are having a really hard time getting through the season. Even as I'm filming this today, it's our grandma's 97th birthday, and I miss her so much. I am so thankful for every moment I got to spend with her, especially during her last chapter of life, getting to learn all of her stories and cherish all those memories. That time that we got to spend together is priceless and something that I will carry on forever. But didn't make me want to go to bed on time last night or stay up a little bit too late thinking about her. And it didn't make me want to wash the dishes. Those dishes will be there later when I'm ready to deal with them. But right now, this message on my heart was so strong that I wanted to share it with you. It reminds me of one of my friends that was making a cookbook, and they had a whole photography crew over at their house, and the entire day the family knew that they were cooking Thanksgiving. And as they were doing the photography for the beautiful photos that were going to go into the cookbook, the photography team ended up using a raw turkey and just using a blowtorch to make it that golden brown. So over the course of the day and all of the hours of the photo shoot, the family was excited, thinking that they were going to sit down that evening for a holiday meal, and to realize that it was all show at the end. It just really hits home to me to remind you that the things on social media, sometimes on YouTube, they can all just be smoke and mirrors. I know that there is so much financial stress on so many shoulders of so many people right now. And whether they're worried about keeping a roof over your head or the power on, or making sure that you have groceries, sometimes buying those presents just stress you out even more. And I know that we all want to have magical memories for our kids, but I want to tell you about my favorite childhood Christmas memory. Out of all of the presents that I remember, out of all of the years growing up, there's probably one Christmas present I actually remember, and that is a Cabbage Patch doll, because I was in my childhood in the 80s, and it was such a big deal. And I still have that Cabbage Patch doll to this day. But my absolute favorite Christmas memory is a Christmas Eve when our power went out. And we lived in a farmhouse away from town. And so when the power went out, it actually went out for many days at a time. And I remember spending that Christmas all bundled up in the living room with a wood-burning fireplace. My parents had put blankets up and nailed them to the walls across the openings so we could keep that living room as warm as possible. And I grew up in a household with my grandfather also living there. And I just remember that Christmas being magical because we turned off screens because we didn't have any at the time. And we played games and we read stories and we sang Christmas songs, and we just spent time together for a few days until the power came back. It was my most magical childhood memory ever. It wasn't about the presents, it was about the people that I got to spend the time with. As my own kids were growing up in our household, we went through some major financial crises. 18 years ago now, my hands clawed up for 2 years, and I've done videos on my chronic health condition called reflective sympathetic dystrophy. But during that time, we didn't know if my hands would ever open up again, or if I'd ever be able to feed myself or do anything for myself again. Miraculously, I am healed and I am healthy and I can do all of the things now. But it was a very stressful time in our lives. And during that time, we did not know how any Christmas presents were going to happen. And we just had faith that they would be provided for our kids. We didn't want anything for ourselves. I remember our pastor showing up surprising after our kids went to sleep, so they didn't know. And he had gifts for the kids, but he also had household items for us as a family. And that was the first time in over a year and a half, we had any paper towels in the house. And it was such a big deal to be able to have paper towels back in the house, especially when the mom of the house couldn't fold towels and wash kitchen towels as much. So those paper towels, even 18 years later, are something that I think about every single time I go to put a paper towel in the bottom of a jar, which started with strawberries in a jar, and look where it has brought the 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐿 legacy today. Some of those memories that I have held on to for so long have made me realize it isn't about moms being really stressed out and trying to make perfectly magical Christmases for our kids, but trying to teach them that it's more important to give in the spirit of the holidays than what's on their Christmas list. I truly believe the holidays for us as a family are more about what we can give to other families than what we receive. And I believe that God blesses us as He provides for us, and we give with an open hand. And that doesn't always have to be a financial gift. That can be waving at a neighbor, or taking a few moments to call a loved one, or checking on somebody that you care about. Sometimes just those moments of your time are the most priceless gifts of all. And the things in our lives have changed financially over the years. So we have been able to bless more than we ever have been able to bless. And it is such a joy in my heart to be able to do that. But you will never see me post about that on social media. You will never see me brag or tell you numbers or those kind of things. Those things that we are doing for other families or people in our communities that don't even know our names, those are just things that we are doing as little Christmas miracles. And just like the things with our finances, as things change over the years, we do sit down and we decide many months before Christmas how much we are going to spend on the holidays. And we make sure that we set that money aside and it's planned for before the holiday comes. It's not being charged on credit cards and something that I deal with later. We have made a long-standing tradition in our family that we do 3 gifts. We do a want, something we need, and something for a hobby. And that's what we do for the people in our household. Something else that we normally do is get a board game or a puzzle, something that we can spend some family time together over the holidays and make some memories. My family also knows that I hate crowds. And when I feel other people's anxious anxiety, it rubs on me. I'm an empath where I can just feel it, the stress off of other people. So for the most part, I'm normally done grocery shopping and Christmas shopping by December 10th. That is the date that Mike used to get paid on, and we just focused all of our Christmas stuff to be done before December 10th because our next payday wasn't until December 25th. I have learned by getting things done early and being able to budget for those things earlier in the summer so I can catch things that are on sale, but I can stay away from those impulse buys and the really stressful times in the stores. And that gives me more time that I can spend at home, because if anybody wants to stop by during the holiday season, I love to make Christmas cookies, and it's even more special when I can do it with a little. I love that this also frees up my schedule, so I'm able to open my home if a busy mom needs to drop off a little with me for a couple hours as they're dealing with trying to run around for the holiday season. Those kind of memories bring me the most joy. During our financial crisis, we realized that we didn't need to buy a bunch of other gifts for people outside of our household. So we would end up doing something small for our parents and grandparents when they were alive, but we didn't necessarily need to buy presents for our siblings or our best friends. And I know sometimes gift giving can be your love language and you love to give gifts, but giving gifts is only good if it's joyful for both people. So if you're giving a gift to somebody and the other family is under a financial stress and it stresses them out, then it's not joyful for both people. The last thing we would want to do is give a gift to somebody that makes it cause them to have guilt or stress that they can't give a gift back. I have realized over the years, especially gifts to our parents and our grandparents, that the things that they treasure the most aren't things that we can buy at the store. Besides spending time with them, things like having their handprints or pictures or little written notes from the kids is what meant the most to them. And even seeing them years and years later on display at their houses was so meaningful that it was the right gift. When our grandma passed away and we went back into her house for the first time, we weren't looking for anything that somebody could buy. We were looking for those items that our kids had given her over the years. Those handprints from when they were little, the Santa picture she had on the mantle, those prized possessions that she had cherished that we brought back into our family and will continue the legacy of. Mike and I have been together since high school. We actually met in junior high, but we have been dating since my senior year of high school. And our very first date was to the zoo lights. And so for many, many years, over 20, we went to the zoo lights every single year. And the first few years, especially as we were having kids and letting them experience the zoo lights, it was fun. But we are from the Seattle area and it was normally raining. There was normally cranky little kids. It was the same zoo lights every single year. And over the years, that tradition just kind of got boring for us. And the prices kept increasing. That is one thing during COVID, they had closed down and we realized we didn't need to keep on going. Driving around alone in our cars, singing Christmas carols and checking out the Christmas lights bring me so much more joy than being out in the cold and wet. So sometimes we are spending money on Christmas and for traditions because we think that we need to keep on doing them. But sometimes you can find something that brings you more joy and is more affordable. Especially the day of Christmas can oftentimes be really stressful with having to run around and go to lots of places trying to make everybody happy. I have realized that if I make a head breakfast that I just have to pop into the oven in the morning while we're opening presents, that just helps everybody have a better start to the day. And as the day progresses, I've learned to make a very simple lasagna that only takes a few minutes to put together. And again, I'm just popping it in the oven so I can spend time with my family and not worrying about having to be in the kitchen the whole time. As our family has grown up and moved out of the house and now we have new family members, it's also a time to remember that we need to give all of our family members a little bit of grace and to be happy for whatever time we do get to spend with them during the holidays. I just want to encourage you to slow down this holiday season and enjoy the memories that you're making. It is okay to say no if something doesn't bring you joy. And for us, things like eating a pomegranate and watching Hallmark movies is just a perfect Christmas kind of evening for us. Don't wait for somebody to call you. If you have somebody on your heart, make their phone ring, send them a message, let them know that you care. It is so important to be reaching out to all of your loved ones during this holiday season. And more than anything, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas.